Welcome back to our practical walkthrough. We have done a fair bit in terms of putting together a solution. And we want to continue the process in terms of building out the same. So just as a refresher, we have created an interactive program where we are able to execute and have the user enter data values. And we then do a display so that we can see the content of those values that have been entered into the respective properties. We're now at the stage where we want to build out a method that will calculate the area. Based on the problem statement, we should be able to calculate the area for both cars and trucks. So let's get that done. We need to go back to our main program, and we now need to add another method. This method is going to be called calculate area. And the purpose of it is to get the length and the width, or to access the length and the width. Seeing that they are properties within the class, we want to multiply them, and we want to generate the area. Once we generate that area, then one of the things that we would want to do is to probably pass it out of the function so that the main program can get access to that data value and make use of it. So we are going to accomplish that in this session. Based on what was just said, it is therefore important for us to determine what the return data type of the function is going to be. Or, put it another way, what is the output of the function going to be? And in our case, because we are dealing with two properties which are integer values and we are going to combine them via multiplication, then it means that the output has to be an integer. So the return data type in this case is int. The name of the function is calculate area. We don't need any parameters because we are going to be making use of the data values which are inside the properties. And we can get access to the properties right within this method. What we need to do, therefore, is to create a variable. So this is a local variable that will store the length times the width. So it means that this variable, this local variable called area, now has the area stored. And then we need to send it out of the function by making use of the return statement. Let's now go to the main program and execute or make use of this method. So we have the store details. And below that, we are going to calculate the area. So we want to calculate the area. And once this area has been calculated, we need to put the output somewhere. So I'm going to create a variable called A, and we are placing the output into that variable. So in other words, the calculate area command is generating an output that we want to now store inside this variable called A. And let's now put a print statement that allows us to see the content. So the area is followed by what is in A. And let's put a new line before the area so we can separate the output. We're now going to execute this and see what happens. So we have to enter the length, that's 10. We have to enter the width, let's say that is 5. And we're seeing here where we have displayed the length and the width. And we have also displayed the message that says that the area is 50. So just to quickly reiterate, the calculate area command is going to multiply the length times the width, length being 10, width being 5. It's going to return an output that is now being stored inside of A. And it therefore means that this output in A is accessible within the main program. So when we display the content of A, we're seeing the area. And just to quickly go back up so we can have a look at the calculate area command or method, we're accessing the properties length and width. We're multiplying them. We're putting that response or that output into a local variable called area. And we are returning area, which means we are sending the output from the calculate function so that it can be used in the main program. We want to do something similar now over inside the Python code. So we're going to go to the Python code. We are creating our function, calculate area. Remember that the functions over here, or the methods over here, they take in the self keyword by default. So that's something that we need to place. And now remember, when we're creating a variable over here, we just give the name. So right here, we are creating a variable called area. And that's going to be equal to self.length. So that's the property length times self.width. We're also going to return area. And then we're going to try that now in the main program after the show details. So v.calc area. We're saying that is being returned. So let's create a variable called a to store that. And then let's use our print command and a formatted string to display the content of A. So the area is A. And let's try this and see what happens. So enter length. I think we had entered 10 and 5. And we're seeing here that the area is 50. So the two programs are now identical in terms of them being able to calculate an area. And in the next iteration of this series, we want to now put in some logic where we calculate the area, we do the necessary checks, to determine whether or not we're talking about a truck or a car, and we validate the area, and then we display our messages in terms of the validation that we have up here. So that's it for this session, and please look forward to the next one.